Today we are starting from shloka number 18. Right? So this is a section where he is talking about how do people worship me, what are the various ways in which they do my upasana, they do my worship, how do they, in which various ways. So we've just read a bit about offering to we just understood that how it is present in various foods, medicines, okay, and in various mantras, in all aspects of the yajna. And then he talks about that he is the father, he's the mother for everybody, and he is looking after. He is the Vidhata and Rig Ved, Samved, he's all that. Okay. So why is he saying all this?
So that we remember him in every form.
Yeah.
And focus on.
And remember him as
The.
Yeah. As the Paramatma, who is who is omnipresent, pervading everything in that sense. Right?
And also in the sense that there is nothing else.
We'll come to that in a separate moment, maybe. Yeah. How is it that there is nothing else? We'll understand that. What else on which you need to focus, which will then define that there is nothing else. Okay. So we'll start on 18 now. Any questions so far? Okay, yeah.
Question, these various forms of worship which have been spoken about here.
In 14 or 15, I think. 15. Yeah.
In chapter 7 also we read that the various facets of Paramatma which are Sagun, like Paramatma is the light in the moon, sun, everything. So how are these forms of worship different? Because there also we were talking about Sagun and Bhakti.
So it is similar, but we'll find the difference a little later. Okay, we'll understand the difference a little later. What he's trying to say here, how is it? That's certainly different. So what he says in 18 is that I am in all that which is action, which is outcome, karm phal. Okay. So from saying that I am the one who is giving the karm phal, who's offering the phal, the fruits of the action. Now he's saying I'm in all the karm phal. I am the doer of all. I look after everybody. Poshan karta hu, bharan karta hu. He is a bharta. I am sabka swami. I am the lord of all. Pranyo ke, so lord of all, he is saying that he is the swami of all the devas also here. Any god, anything. He is the lord of everything. All the gods. Okay. प्राणियों के कर्म और अकर्म का साक्षी. So he is the one who is the witness to all the actions which we are performing and actions we are not performing. Okay. So some of the actions which we don't perform also cause a certain amount of implication on us. Okay. For example, if we see somebody is is lying in an accident and we don't go and help, then it is also that I have not acted, but that non-action by itself has created a karma. Okay. जिसमें प्राणी निवास करते हैं, so they pranis, the beings which are there, they live there. What is nivas? It is that place where we live, and this is not a place where we live for 4 years, 10 years. We live forever if we believe in that way. Okay, because we live in that forever, right through our birth till death. Sharan. So anybody who is having any sorrows, any problems, he goes to him for help. You can depend on him. You take shelter in him. In that sense, he is a person who is removing those sorrows, so those pains, those miseries. Suhit, like a friend, without pratyupkar na chahakar, upkar karne wala. Like a friend, he is not desirous of getting any benefit or any upkar or anything welfare from the other person as a consequence of what he is doing for them. Okay, like a friend. Cause of all births, जगत की उत्पत्ति का कारण, और जिसमें सब लीन हो जाते हैं वह प्रलय भी मैं हूँ. In that which everything is eventually dissolved at the time of pralay, at the time of catastrophe, at the time when there's total destruction, that time also I am that particular pralay which causes it, and also in which everybody then goes and gets dissolved. Okay. तथा जिसमें सब स्थित होते हैं वह स्थान प्राणियों के कालांतर में उपभोग करने योग्य कर्मों का भंडार रूप निधान. So he's saying that I also am the repository of all the karmas which you do and the fruits which have to be given from that repository. Okay. And therefore I am that seed which is existing with anything which is going to take birth. I am the seed of everything. A very interesting piece which has been said here. Seed means that if there is something, the seed to that must also be existing. So if there's a tree, the seed to that is also existing. Right? So if there's anything which exists, the seed to that is that Paramatma. Good analogy to remember with, because if nothing can, uh, if you say something is existing and it comes from nothing, that's not true. There has to be a seed to it. That seed I am is what he is saying. Okay. Now the seed could also have been said to be like the mud for the pot. Right? It could have also been said in the form that if there is mud and you plant a seed there, a tree will grow. So in a sense, the tree is born out of the mud. Right? There's a difference between the pot and the tree coming from the same mud. You seeing the distinction? So he is covering both those aspects by saying the word seed. Okay.
But how are those two metaphors comparable? One is that from mud comes a pot, others from mud comes a tree.
So for the tree, it could be said that mud is the cause.
Ah,
Okay. Now, in a similar way, that mud is not similar to the tree. The two, in their own tattvas, in their own elements, are different. It's not like the mud and pot are similar. They're two dissimilar objects. The one which is from which it is arising is totally dissimilar from that which has come into manifestation. Right? So that we are, as human beings, are arising out of that which is totally dissimilar. Okay, which is what is being, in a sense, hinted at by giving that example. Okay, if it was just the mud in the pot, then maybe Bhagwan is like me, and that's why he's given birth to somebody like him, a human form. Okay, which he is now. Which by this example, I'm saying that it is not so. Okay? जब तक संसार है तब तक उसका बीज भी अवश्य रहता है. So everything which is existing will also have its seed, always existing. And in that sense, that seed is avinashi, eternal, imperishable. Right? Because without that seed, nothing can be born. Now, this is another way to look at it. The other way we saw it was what? A little earlier. The seed of this existence was Prakriti, Avyakt Prakriti, that which is not visible to us. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Maya, no?
Yeah, which is caused by the Maya. Okay, that is how the logic is applied. Right? And we'll understand as to how Prakriti does it, because in future chapters there is some discussion, there's a lot of discussion on that as well. Okay. That's why we are repeating it here, because it'll come to help you. So this is how it is going to be seen to be causing the birth of everything, and that the seed is never perishing. This is what is said in shloka number 18. If somebody can read that in English.
I am that movement Gati, viz. Outcomes of actions, the one who fulfills Bharta, the master of all Swami, the witness Sakshi of actions and non-actions of beings, where the creatures live their abode, Vasthan, their shelter or refuge meaning Sharan, remover of the pain of those who have taken shelter, helping others as a friend without seeking in return, Pratyukar,
Pratyupkar.
Pratyukar, the cause for the origin of this world, Prabhav, and is the dissolution or the catastrophe, Pralay, in which everyone dissolves, that I am, and in which everything exists, that existence, that place, that treasury, in the form of a store which keeps actions which can be enjoyed over time. I am the imperishable seed, means the imperishable cause of birth of those things which take birth. Till the universe exists, its seed always remains. Hence, the seed is imperishable. Because without the seed, nothing is born, and birth is always happening or seen. From this, we understand that the tradition or chain of seeds never dies.
Yeah, so we understand that this imperishability of the seed is limited to the existence as much. Only till the time there is existence that the seed exists. Right? So it's not that eternal Brahma, okay, which should be understood very clearly. It is limited to the time that the existence is there. Because anything existing means it should have, there must be a seed. Right?
So it's not same as impressions of past karmas.
This is, see, there are two aspects by which the entire thing is happening. One from the Prakriti point of view, and the second is from the individual point of view, which we call the Veshtikaran and the Samashtikaran. We will not be getting into those details, but essentially from the individualistic point of view, we see our karmas causing birth again. From the Prakriti point of view, the Karan is seen to be that of Brahma. Brahma, through his Maya, creates the Prakriti, and in Prakriti, he puts the seed or the egg, which leads to everything coming into existence, right? Now, in the case of an individual, we say that through ignorance and desire, okay, individual does not know who he is, and therefore through the desire which he has and with the prarabdha which he is carrying, the impressions of the past births, he comes into existence. That desire to come into existence, to fulfill all the desires of the past karmas, brings him into this existence. Okay, how is it happening? We read this in Aparoksh, but I'm repeating because I've not done this in a while. It is out of Agyan and Asakti. Gyan is ignorance, Asakti is desire, attachment. Okay, and these two things are the reasons for a person coming into existence. In the same way, Brahma, through the illusion of Maya, which he has created, creates the Prakriti. Okay, and that, in a sense, that Maya is also ignorance. Through his power of ignorance, through his power by itself, we don't call it ignorance, we call it illusion. He is creating this Prakriti and putting the seed of the existence to be sprouted. And how that interplays with the individual's desires creates this entire existence, manifestation, which we'll see in detail later on. Okay. If we go to the 19th sloka,
I also, being the sun, through some rays give heat to everyone, and through some rays give rain, and after the rain, through some rays keep evaporating the water for 8 months, and when the season comes, I again cause rain.
so he is now entering into the stage where he is also talking about that I make things happen. Okay, I am the doer, I am the karta of all these things which happen. Okay, so let's look at the next one.
Hey Arjun, I am the immortality of the gods and the death in this world. And in all truth and untruth, it is me only. Meaning which exists due to someone's relatedness that, and that which is opposite of that also, only I am.
So, yeah, so let's understand this. He says, देवों का अमृत, immortality of devas, मृत्युलोक में बसने वालों की मृत्यु, death of those people who are there in the मृत्युलोक, तथा सत और असत सब में मैं ही हूं. So what is sat? What is asat?
Sat is Brahman and Asat is the Maya Prakriti.
So sat is the karan and asat is the karya. Now, try and get this into your mind to understand this carefully because we'll use this again and again. Okay, we have done this once in the past. कार्य में कारण अनुगत है. Remember that sentence? So we are coming back to something like that. Okay. Karan is Brahma, right? The cause, right? And the outcome is Karya, which is the manifestation, right? तो मैं सत में और असत में सब में मैं ही हूं. कारण में भी मैं हूं, चाहे उस कारण को मैं बीज रूप कहूं या ब्रह्म रूप कहूं या प्रकृति रूप कहूं या माया रूप कहूं, वो कारण में भी मैं हूं, और कार्य जो अभी तक इन्होंने सब चीजें बताई हैं, पहले में भी बताई है, 7वें अध्याय में भी, वो भी मैं, सब में मैं हूं. अर्थात what is he trying to say here? If you are relating something to somebody, can you read that part please? Second part.
Meaning which exists due to someone's relatedness, that, and that which is opposite of that also.
So
only
that
I
which
am.
is existing because of relatedness with, okay, so we exist with our relatedness with what? Because of that Brahma, okay, and the opposite of that, which does not exist because of the relatedness with Brahma also. Okay, can you read that sentence again now?
Meaning which exists due to someone's relatedness, that, and that which is opposite of that also, only I am.
Correct. So if I say that this exists here and this is related to Brahma, okay, its cause of that is Brahma, and then you say that there's something which does not exist, and well, we don't know whether this cause is Brahma or not. Okay, that also he's saying I am that. Okay, so it is a little beyond that Sat and Asat, right? Sat was the cause, and the outcome is the manifestation, which is the Karya, Karan or Karya. Okay, and that manifestation was, if that manifestation is also not there, even that I am, is what he is saying by this statement. ठीक है?
I think उसको और next में भी वो
हाँ,
explain
मैंने explain किया, उसको भी पढ़ो आप. Good that you are seeing that and
Yeah.
can read that.
Being is what exists in relation to some, that is its cause, and its opposite is non-being, which does not exist. Both these I am both the cause and the effect.
Yeah. Okay.
What is non-being?
You can sit down and say, now I am in meditation and have transcended every space. I am non-being. You can say what you like in that state. You mean in that state I am. You can claim that there is a thought which does not exist, and suddenly that thought appears, and that itself is as a consequence of that which is Brahma. I am that. So when we look at the statement, I am that, some of these words here are going to make a lot of sense. It will give you completeness to those words.
So non-being
To that-
here doesn't mean avyakt prakriti. Non-being in this context.
It could be, it could be, it could be. I think you could take that as well. You could take that as well. Okay. So this is clear? Now he's made a couple of statements. So those gods are also under me. I have created them. I am in there because of me. All that which is manifesting is also because of me in the Mrityu Lok. सब सत और असत सब मैं ही हूं. ठीक है? No exceptions are left. Okay. So if somebody says that that Bhagwan is asat, that is not true. Okay, because we can say that what we cannot perceive with our eyes or our five senses is not true. That is being negated by this statement. right? Often enough, we say, a lot of people who are there, he'll say, what I can't see, what I can't perceive is not true. What I can see, what I can perceive with my senses is only true. Apart from senses, what I can feel, I can think about, what I can imagine, whatever else could be true, right? With my mind, with my feelings, with my ego, with whatever else, okay, is only true. He's negating that and saying, in that also I am, but don't believe that I am a Sat, because that's the only truth. And why? Because that Sat is the cause and Asat is the outcome, the fruit. Please continue.
But remember, Bhagwan is not untruth. Here, truth and untruth is to be understood as truth being the cause and untruth being the action or form. Those Jnani persons who worship me according to the earlier set sequence oneness, unity, manyness, diversity, etc., experiential yagnas, they, in accordance to their perception, Vigyan Anusar, attain me only.
So this is referred to those Kramanusar which we saw in Shloka number 10. Okay. No, Shloka number 15, I'm sorry. And when they worship me with that sequence, that understanding, where what did we understand in that? That there is that oneness. Okay. Let's go to 15. परम ब्रह्म परमात्मा एक ही है, उसकी उपासना करते हैं. That who is one and that is me, and that is what I worship. The second one he says, they worship Vishnu in everything. The third one they said was that which is a form which we see uh, has that essence in various ways, and that variety in that diversity also I can be perceived to be that one. All right? In those three ways. If you look at Shloka 50. ठीक है? Should we go to Shloka 20? But the person who is without um, who is without knowledge, who is a jnani, and he is attached to the subjects, objects. Okay, what happens to him? Because what has been given here is for a person who is not attached, who is, in a sense, understanding all these things, who knows that I am in that which is manifested and I am also that which is unmanifested. So, what is it that such a person would do? What is it that will happen to him? What will he do? So, in this, he says that the three Vedas, such persons would possibly be knowing the three Vedas, okay, and they would be without sense because they have performed very major yagyas and so on and so forth, okay, and all their sins have been destroyed. So they will do various types of yagyas and they will desire that they attain heaven. Okay. So when they desire for that and they perform those yagyas, then they attain that heaven. And they will go to heaven and they will attain that heaven. So those who are ajnanis, who don't understand that I am all powerful, I am the Swami, I am the Bharta, I am the shelter, I am the friend, and so on and so forth, and who does not see me in both the manifested and the unmanifested, then he is performing these actions to fulfill a desire, to reach, to get Swarg. Okay? Please read this in English.
But regarding those ignorant persons who are attached to objects of desire, who know the three Vedas, Rig, Yajur, and Sam, drinking the somras, intoxicating drink, nectar, and without sin, meaning whose sins have been destroyed by drinking the somras, such persons with desire, present in the form of Vasu, etc., Devas, gods, worship me Paramatma by Agnishtom, in praise of Agni, etc., yagnas for their desire to attain heaven. They, by their virtuous fruits in the form of heaven, the world of Lord Indra, enjoy divine foods of the gods, the supernatural pleasures appropriate to gods.
Okay? Agni Ushtamadi is essentially various offerings to the Agni, and there are different yagyas which are prescribed to make those offerings to the Agni, which is what has been mentioned. Please go ahead.
And they have enjoyed the extensive and elaborate heaven, and on finishing the virtues, which were the reason for attaining heaven, they return to this place of death. In the above manner, conforming to the laws of Vedic karmas, those persons desirous, replete with attachments to objects, again and again go and come back. In this manner, repetitively, come and go, never able to attain freedom anywhere.
So if they don't understand this and they don't want to attain me, okay, they want to attain Swarg, they want to attain some gods, then they go and attain that. But once their virtuous actions are over, for them to stay there is not possible, and they come back to this particular place where karmas have to be performed again, and they take birth again and again here, and then again they possibly have enough virtues to go to heaven, and they go to heaven and they come back. Right? So this continues to happen for people who don't understand who I am and don't worship me, but are desirous of getting that which is heaven.
So heaven is in between.
Anything and everything which is there up till that which it is that ultimate is all in the space or in the area, in the arena of birth and death. Okay.
What is being described as heaven here is also part of Maya.
Exactly. Absolutely. So let's understand some aspects of this. Okay. In this particular existence, we have two things which happen: pap and punya. So we have two opposites which continue to happen all the time: shitoshna, okay, cold and hot, good and bad, desire, aversion, pain, pleasure. Okay. In case of heaven, one of these two is removed. You know which one will be removed. Okay. And in the hell, the other one gets removed. So there's only one. There'll be pleasure alone and there'll be pain alone. Only in this particular birth, in this type of birth, we are therefore offered a mechanism to be able to do those karmas which will take us to the path of virtue, or they will take us to the path of sin. Choices are made here. There, you are only depleting the balance of what you have earned in the other two worlds, if you were to see it that way. And all of it is part of what you said, the Maya's existence. So they don't exist if you have realized that ultimate. Okay.
And therefore, by implication, are we saying that Indra and his cohorts
are also therefore
are
subject to
also
this.
therefore a part of?
Yeah. Absolutely.
They are agents of the Brahma.
Absolutely. That's what is said by Vedanta. By Vedanta, as it is also said in the Gita.
And no matter how virtuous you are dedicated to being, you're still in Maya. Maximum you'll get is heaven, after which you'll come back here and again happy.
If you don't understand him,
Yeah.
if you don't, we'll understand a little more in this chapter, and then
It's almost dangerous because one can get addicted to being only virtuous.
absolutely right. Without understanding that
Without
why are you
understanding.
being virtuous?
Yeah, it's like you're going to Chandi Mandir instead of reaching Chandigarh.
So it just totally negates that heaven and hell are all here.
Absolutely. It's here means yes, it is part of this illusionary existence, the Prakriti, which has been created by Bhagwan.
They say one remains in heaven for hundreds or thousands of years.
It could be. It could be.
It's written, that's it.
Yeah, it could be.
Right.
But eventually you have to come back.
And start all over again and can even mess up and become a cockroach.
Or you could go into the hell.
So this is the most important
Right.
word from the
In terms of accumulation of good or bad karmas. Okay. But those who are nishkami, who are without desires, nishkam is, nish is non-desire kam, right? निष्कामी पूर्ण ज्ञानी जो है, ओके, वो कैसे होते हैं? वो जो सन्यासी अनन्य भाव से युक्त हुए, अर्थात परम देव मुझ नारायण को आत्म रूप से जानते हुए, मेरा निरंतर चिंतन करते हुए, मेरी श्रेष्ठ निष्काम उपासना करते हैं. They worship me without any desire for any fruit. किसकी वर्शिप करते हैं? जो अपने में आत्म रूप देखते हैं उसकी, अपने में आत्म रूप को देखते हैं उसकी, बिना किसी कामना के उपासना वर्शिप करते हैं. निरंतर मुझ में ही स्थित उन परमात्म ज्ञानियों का योगक्षेम मैं चलाता हूं. निरंतर मतलब persistently, persevering, constantly. Nirantar, Nitya is eternal, always. Always and Nirantar is constant. Okay. वो जो परमार्थ ज्ञानी है उनका योगक्षेम मैं चलाता हूँ. What is योगक्षेम? योगक्षेम is saying that I do everything for him. He doesn't need to do anything. I look after him completely. All his needs are taken care of by me. Okay, I preserve, I give him everything which needs to protect him. I give him what he does not have and he requires. And essentially referring to people who are those siddhas which we see, who are living without any income, so to say, who have no concern about finding a roof on their head or having a cloth on their body or a morsel of food in their stomach. He says, I am, because they are totally dependent on him. वो सन्यासी अनन्य भाव से युक्त हुए, अर्थात परम देव मुझ नारायण को आत्म रूप से जानते हुए, मेरा निरंतर चिंतन करते हुए, मेरी श्रेष्ठ निष्काम उपासना करते हैं, उनका उन परमार्थ ज्ञानियों का योगक्षेम मैं चलाता हूं। तो ये जो सन्यासी हैं ये अकर्ता हैं, अभोक्ता हैं। दे डोंट हैव any reason to perform any action, and they are not even people who are going to be enjoying any outcome of those actions. So when we have read about a sannyasi, we say अच्छा यदि वो अकर्ता है तो कैसे अपना जीवन चलाता है, कैसे अपना शरीर चलाता है। तो भगवान ने यहाँ पर स्पष्ट कर दिया कि ये जीवन मैं ही उसका चलाता हूँ। अप्राप्त वस्तु की प्राप्ति का नाम योग है और प्राप्त वस्तु की रक्षा का नाम क्षेम है। सो जो चीज प्राप्त नहीं हुई उसको योग बोलते हैं, और जो चीज प्राप्त हो गई है उसकी रक्षा करने का नाम क्षेम है। उनके ये दोनों काम मैं स्वयं किया करता हूँ। I do that myself for them. Okay, can you read this part?
But those who are without desire, complete knowers, jnani, those renunciates knowing that Paramatma is always one with me, meaning know the Supreme God, me, the Narayan, in the form of Atma, constantly meditate on me, without desire worship me. Being constantly in me, for those ultimate knowers, I acquire and preserve Yog, Shrim, and what they need. The thing which they do not have but need is called Yog, and protecting what they have is Krishma. I myself
Shame.
do
Shame.
both these things for them.
क्योंकि ज्ञानी तो अपना आत्मा ही मानता हूँ, ज्ञानी को तो मैं। ज्ञानी is understanding that I am the Atma. Jnani knows that I am the Atma. So he says that that Atma which he knows, that I am in any case. So I also treat him as my Atma alone. Okay. वह मेरा प्यारा है, he is very dear to me. इसलिए वे उपर्युक्त भक्त मेरे आत्मरूप और प्रिय हैं। अन्य भक्तों का योगक्षेम भी तो भगवान ही चलाते हैं। ये प्रश्न पूछा जा रहा है कि बाकी सब लोगों का भी तो देखभाल और उनकी जो जरूरतें हैं उनको पूरा करना भगवान ही चलाते हैं ना। तो इसमें वो उसका उत्तर देते हैं। आप पढ़िए।
I read from because I deem the Jnani.
Yeah.
Because I deem the Jnani to be my Atma only, and he is dear to me, hence that devotee is in the form of my Atma and is dear to me. Question. Bhagwan also acquires and preserves for other devotees also? This is correct, for surely Bhagwan does, but there is a difference. Those other devotees, they seek prosperity and security by their own efforts also. Because those devotees with faith that Paramatma and me are one do not make effort for themselves. Because they do not even have selfish desire in living or dying. Only Bhagwan remains their support, meaning Bhagwan only acquires and preserves what they need.
So the difference has been created and said that those who are completely sheltered, surrendered to the Lord and have no desire to do anything for themselves, they are looked after by Bhagwan. But others are looked after for certain things because they also beings know that कि यदि भगवान ने नहीं किया कम से कम हम सड़क पे तो नहीं पड़े होंगे. So let me go and put something in my bank balance, right? Or put something in my stomach that I won't go hungry. Right? So things like those will be our attempts. But actually, if you were to have that Shraddha, that faith, that surrender in the Lord, then that stomach which you have found it empty, it'll get filled up by some mechanism or other. Somebody will come and give you food. And there are people who have various techniques of finding energy as well. Okay, so for example, people can get food from Vayu itself. Okay, the energies from the air itself can sustain them. They can get energies from Akash itself, energies from space itself, vacuum. And there are yogis who have been heard of not needing food for weeks on, not needing even air at times. Okay? So they are people who are taken care of by Bhagwan because they are totally, totally surrendered to him.
But if the Jnani has realized that he or she is Bhagwan in that sense, in the sense, why does he need Bhagwan to support himself?
He doesn't need anything. We are being told this.
So why does Bhagwan say that I will look after them?
So that when you are perceiving yourself to be in that state, you don't feel that I will be lost somewhere.
But it should be irrelevant.
It will become irrelevant, is what he's saying. He's telling you upfront.
It is the physicality which has to come to an end.
The physicality remains. That is why it's being said. The physicality remains. The prarabdha which has brought you into this birth, that has to fulfill whatever it has to do. To that extent, the body will remain. Okay? And the fulfillment of the requirements of the body will be taken care of by Ishwar. That is what is being said.
So in a sense, there is this phrase which is used contextually perhaps differently, Bhagwan Bharosa.
That is a.
If we use that phrase literally, it seems to apply and fit in with the Jnani group or something.
The Jnani is not looking at it from that perspective. You got the point.
Bhagwan is,
One second.
as per this.
Bhagwan is telling you,
He's saying that you do Bharosa in me.
if you have complete surrender in me,
Since you have surrendered to me,
then you will be taken care of.
so therefore the phrase actually literally does apply to that.
The way we use that
The
phrase,
way we use it contextually is very different.
very different. That's what all I meant.
But as a phrase, it seems to apply literally in this situation.
Well, you're saying that, but that bharosa is not a word which is equivalent to samarpan. That's all I'm saying. If you equate that, then I agree with you.
Adashra is what we
Right.
is it? Huh?
Right? If you equate it to that, then I'm fine. Okay, we
At
go
the
to.
same time, there is a minor pitfall, which is that, karamanye vadikaraste, that it doesn't mean that suppose somebody is trying to remain in a state of surrender due to being a seeker, that doesn't mean I must not make my best action for my nitya karma, for my own survival. कि चलो मेरा पेट भर जाएगा, मेरा सब हो जाएगा. No, I have to do my best action still while in a state of surrender, right? Isn't it? While knowing that it's being done to me and I'm doing my best action. That's it.
I think don't mix up too many things. Okay. So first is that we are performing action. Our dharma is to perform action. After we have performed those actions in a particular way, which is basically asakti rahit karma and Ishwar arpan karma. Okay. And performing these is going to take a while. Till that time, I am going to continue to make efforts to look after myself. Slowly, it will happen that many things start happening around because you have started becoming virakt. There is a certain amount of vairagya, vivek, which starts arising, and you are saying that this is vivek, this is the right understanding, because now I am not drawn not attached to my desires. Okay, because I have, what is it that I have gone and renounced? I have renounced the outcome of my actions. What drives me to perform action? Some need, some outcome. Now, if I have renounced that particular outcome, then in a way I have performed an action without having an attachment to that outcome. So, if no attachment to the outcome happens, there is vairagya, there is detachment. Right? Logic is understood. It is not that I have said I will have detachment. Okay? That detachment is arising out of the fact that I don't have any strong desire or attachment to the outcome of the action. Herein itself, if you were to use the word as what uh, was said by Rahul, वो भगवान भरोसे, that's a possibility. Okay? वो जो होगा वो भगवान भरोसे, मैंने तो अपना कर्म अच्छी तरह से कर, ठीक है, there I will say I'll accept that. Of course, if it is said with a complete understanding of what he is letting go of. Okay. Once we settle down with that and we start getting an understanding, then I can only then proceed to actually do karmas which are dedicated or surrendered to the Lord. Surrendering to the Lord is not easy. Okay. It could be, in a sense, let go of, which is more like not having an attachment to the outcome. Okay.
Or having faith.
Then the faith will arise for this to happen. Today, that faith is also limited. Okay. Faith is conditional today. Okay. Faith is limited. And that faith is also distributed between various things without understanding that that is only one by itself. I can use these different things, but not having an understanding that if I'm using these things, I'm actually only offering it to that ultimate Lord. Okay, so I will do शिव जी का सोमवार का व्रत, I will do मंगल का व्रत, I will do whatever else for various aspects of purification. I'll do some tap, yagya, dan, whatever else. Okay.
So going from what you just said, I'm not sure whether I understood it correctly, but you continue to do karma as per your duties to a stage, and you have to then come to a point of recognition that I have completed my duties through the karma that I have been doing, and I am now freer or detached sufficiently, or I'm progressing in that to move into karmas which are not duty based, but which are more of surrender, more of uh, going towards karma.
Okay.
That
It's a
stage of, or that point of recognition, call it tipping point or whatever, that has to come sometime.
yeah. So you are expressing it in words of certain nature, Rahul. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me convert them into some other words. Those actions which you are performing out of duty, okay, and with an understanding that there is one Ishwar, and you are able to therefore slowly withdraw your senses from the desires for various things. Okay. This particular situation will arise automatically. The tipping point will not be even perceived by you.
Yeah, that is the
Yeah, it will happen you will suddenly, not suddenly, over a period of time, maybe suddenly also, find that there are things which are happening differently, right? And that will reinforce your commitment to moving towards the Ishvara. Okay? Bhakti will arise at that point in time. Yeah? So it is something which will be led by your own uh, vichar, your own actions, your own following, believing. Let's say if you were to believe in what Gita is saying, and if you follow it, it will certainly happen. That much is sure. Okay? That much is assured. And also, the next step will also start happening. So, which sequence and how they will start all happening, nothing can be said, because that is set of things which will happen. And he's saying that. But beyond that, it is, as they say, um, words cannot take you there. Okay?
And I guess it's for one to experience oneself.
It is that is what he's saying constantly in the Gyan Vigyan Yoga of chapter 7. That's what he said, and now he is going further to talk about that which is which is sorry, which is what we come to as surrender. Okay, no, no, don't worry. Okay, and therefore it is important to go through all this so that when we are, and we'll come back to it. It is not that you're not going to be reading it again. You'll read it alone, you'll read it with somebody else, you'll read it in the same room. We don't know anything. Okay. So, as they say that there are 555 shlokas which have been spoken by Krishna Bhagwan in the Gita. Okay. These 555 principles, as they call them, have to be fully understood by you by the time you get to the spot that you will realize this. Okay. So we have started understanding a few things of a few shlokas in some chapters. Okay, you only expand as you go. For example, it's a very important thing that we see people who are sannyasis and they have no interest in even begging for food or taking food. Okay, and we wonder as to how do they survive. And we read of stories that they survive through magic, through whatever, grace, blessings, whatever. And it's not so only in this sect or that sect. In Hindu sect, the entire thing, whether you take the Sikh or the Jains or the Buddhs or whatever you want to take. Okay? That's how it happens. Any sect you can take. We have enough cases of people who don't need to be, everything comes to them.
So there is therein also to survive.
No, that stage to reach that I don't need anything to survive. I don't need to survive. This life is over in that sense of existential stuff. That stage has to be reached. Once you reach that stage, then everything is there in any case. And what you realize as you go along the path is that he's taking care of many things which you have not even asked for.
It is one of the stages of the evolution
Correct.
towards the
Correct.
Bhagwad.
You will see it in yourself. You'll see it around you. It's not as if you are doing anything. But you will see that yourself. It is not as if it will appear in words that this is now happened. You may speak a few words here and there, and those who know recognize where you are. Okay? But nobody else will know, nor do you know really. Okay? And those who are ignorant will not know in any case. Okay? We are at 32 and we are at shloka number
23, 9.23.
So do you want to complete 23?
We can do it.
So let's do that. So those who are not worshipping me, okay, and so how? जो बाकी देव हैं उनको जब मैं वर्शिप करता हूँ, उनकी उपासना करता हूँ, तो क्या वो पूजन, वो भक्ति भी आप ही की है? ये प्रश्न यहाँ पर करा गया है. प्लीज रीड.
If it is said that other devas are also you, hence their devotees are also worshipping you, then this is correct. Those who are devotees of other divinities, having devotion in other gods, worship them with faith, with a mind of belief. He son of Kunti, they also worship me, but not as prescribed. Not prescribed is ignorance, and hence they worship me without knowledge.
So he says that when you worship any god, you're worshipping me as well, but you're not doing it in the prescribed fashion. You are doing it avidhi purvak. Vidhi is as prescribed, avidhi purvak. What is that avidhi? Is that you're doing it without any knowledge of me. You're doing it with ignorance. And therefore, when you do it with ignorance, the fruit of that particular action also will be smaller, will be diffused, whatever. Okay, will not be of the same intensity. Okay. I think I'll also read the 24 because that will complete this part and then we'll let go of 25th, 25, 26, 27. Please read.
How is how is their worship not as prescribed? I only am the enjoyer and master in the form of gods of all Shruti and Smriti yagnas. I am the master of all yagnas only, 8.04. But those non-knowers do not know me by this correct essence, hence performing yagnas in the non-prescribed manner. They do not attain the rightful fruit, meaning they decline, they have a downfall.
So in 8.04, the shloka says that Adi Bhut, Adi Dev, Adi Yajna. Okay? अर्थात कि वो सब मैं ही हूँ, यज्ञ में भी मैं ही हूँ, आदि भूत सब एलिमेंट सब भूतों में भी मैं हूँ और आदि देव भी मैं हूँ, सब में मैं हूँ. जो इस प्रकार मुझको जानता है वो तो यथार्थ रूप से मेरी भक्ति करता है. पर यदि वो केवल विभिन्न प्रकार के देवी देवताओं का पूजन करता है और इसको भूल जाता है तो उसका जो फल है वो अल्प ही मिलता है. अतः अविधि पूर्वक पूजन करके वे यज्ञ के असली फल से गिर जाता है, अर्थात उनका पतन हो जाता है. So if you remember that he is that Adi Yajna, Adi Dev and Adi Bhut, then you perform any yajna, then there is a possibility that you will surrender to the right thing, who will then take care of the outcomes because he is the ultimate Vidhata. He is the one who is the ordainer. He is the one who is giving you the outcome of the fruits. That is what has been said. So we have seen that those who are not Jnani and they are worshipping those who are other gods, it is not as if the fruit will not come to them. It will come. Okay? But it will depend on how much he is understanding that I am the ultimate supreme Paramatma. As Adi Bhut, Adi Dev, Adi Yagya.
When he says other gods means other than
Him.
him.
Right.
Indra.
Gods basically being referred to as the manifested gods which we have. Like we have Ganpati, we have
The Sagun.
Hanuman. Yeah.
So decline or downfall here represents rebirth going into.
Yes, essentially saying that the fruit is not appropriate to the yajna you perform. And therefore you will lose your trust, faith, belief in that particular yajna because you've not attained what. So then either you will have a downfall that you will not follow that particular practice, or if you're following that practice, then you have to revitalize yourself and then perform that. That's
The
what
outcome is not eternal.
that sense. That you are energized back to understanding and following what he is asking you to do. Also, in a sense, therefore, you are performing them with certain desires to be fulfilled of your own. Any worship to any devta is usually for that. So we close for today. We can take any questions you have, but we can close this.